Today is December the 27th, day 62 of the storm after the storm in the state of Guerrero, Mexico. To date, the international media is still silent about this increasing humanitarian crisis. The government is still taunting citizens with promises of food, and we have received no reports of any other relief teams working in Guerrero. In Acapulco, once a luxury vacation hotspot, 600 hotels and tourist condominiums have been destroyed with no evidence of these properties or the income being restored for over 800,000 lives by these businesses. Income of which the now starving and homeless need so desperately to continue to survive. So, in summary, 62 days since Hurricane Otis struck with Category 5 force winds, nothing has changed except the increase of starvation, death and disease, as evident when 11 days ago vultures began to circle overhead. At the same time, the reports of bodies of victims from the storm after the storm are being piled in the streets with the storm debris. Although the crisis is grim, I am very happy to report that during this past weekend, our HurricaneOtis Guerrero Mexico emergency feeding mission team was able to deliver food and hygiene supplies to 50 families living in and alongside a deep ravine on the outskirts of Acapulco. This now brings to the total of 422 starving families our emergency feeding team has provided pantries of food and hygiene supplies to in the past month. Although this is a small victory against starvation and disease, there are over 100,000 desperate families clinging on to life, desperate for their turn to receive these life-saving pantries, which include such essential items as tuna, milk, rice, pasta, salad, cereal, oil, soap and more. And with each delivery, we are learning about the fears many of the children have developed when every time the wind blows and rainstorms approach. It is a frightening reminder experienced within this and the other 84 communities within the state of Guerrero experienced when Hurricane Otis struck 62 days ago. During this past Saturday, as our emergency feeding team was delivering the pantries of supplies, our team found this little boy, alone, starving and afraid. Our emergency feeding team leader was able to bring the young boy assurance and comfort. Soon the young boy's mother and sibling appeared from their makeshift home at the bottom of the ravine and shared in the joy of receiving the gift of life-saving food. This is among many of the small victories our emergency feeding team is able to accomplish through your generous donations. And during Saturday night, as storm after storm struck the area, our emergency feeding team also experienced the same threat of rock slides and drowning that these 50 families, living alongside and within the ravine too often experience. Now we turn our attention to provide life-saving food and hygiene supplies to more of the victims, and we begin by asking again for the government leaders to find empathy and take swift and decisive action now to save as many lives as possible. And we are also asking donors to take swift and decisive action, contribute generously today before this humanitarian crisis worsens, as the disease carried by flies feeding off the dead is already in the past days crossing our borders. For just $68 we'll purchase one pantry of food and hygiene supplies for an average family of 4 in Guerrero. And $680 will provide for 10 families and help us toward our goal of saving over 100,000 families in Guerrero who are in extremely dire need of food and hygiene supplies today. Please act now to send your gift of life today to wingcrs.org/donate. We ask you now, what is one life worth? And whatever amount you can give, 100% goes to providing life-saving food and hygiene supplies to the hurricane victims in Guerrero. And whether you can give a donation or not, please consider that one of the most powerful acts we all should do today is to repost and share this video with others to raise world awareness of this humanitarian crisis. Help us save these fragile lives today, and may God bless you from Wings CRS.